Hey everybody, it's 13th Wolfman. You know what today is? Today is the 21st day in the 31 days of Halloween. And so the 21st day, I pulled something out of the hat. It's a very mainstream is the word, I guess, horror film. And that is 1984's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Written by Wes Craven, directed by Wes Craven, put out by New Line Cinema. Starred Robert Englund, Heather Langenkamp, Amanda Weiss, John Saxon. You know, I mean, it's a very Johnny Depp. It's a very distinguished and very well-known movie. Of course, we all know the story behind it. Robert Englund plays Freddy Krueger, who was a kid that abused kids, and the parents took it upon themselves to get rid of him, burning him in a fire. And it's kind of cool because at one point in time, I don't think it's in the first movie, or I'm not, somewhere along the ways you find out that like a lot of the kids that are being tormented had brothers and sisters. They just don't talk about it that much. It's like, yeah, they're like, I was an only child. Well, technically you weren't. You know, you had an older brother or you had an older sister, and a little nut job down the road, you know, slaughtered them. The movie was based off of an article that Wes Craven read in the 1970s where these refugees from, I believe it was Cambodia, it was either Cambodia or Laos, but I believe it was Cambodia, were having nightmares. And they couldn't do anything about it because, you know, it's just something that people have. Well, they also found out that a lot of these refugees were having nightmares and they were dying in their sleep. They were dying in their sleep. And so Wes took that idea and kind of ran with it and turned it into something years later. I mean, he read this back in the 70s, and Nightmare on Elm Street didn't come out until 84. So he had time to develop the script, and he tried to sell the script to everyone at the time, and nobody wanted to take no one wanted to take a chance on it until he met up with Bob Shea from New Line, who said, you know what, I think you got something here. And so they developed a working relationship, and we got A Nightmare on Elm Street. I saw this movie in the theater when it came out in 1984. I read Fangoria back then, but this was one that I just kind of like, I think I didn't know much about it. It just kind of caught me because Wes Craven, who had made The Hills Have Eyes, was involved. So The Hills Have Eyes at the time was my all-time favorite horror film, and so I was like, wow, the guy that did that is going to do A Nightmare on Elm Street. I want to check it out. And I didn't know who any of these people were that were in the movie. Heather Langenkamp and Johnny Depp. This is Johnny Depp's first movie ever. And it's also his first death on screen. I mean, I'm not giving anything away. If you haven't seen this movie, I mean, it's been out since '84. It's been available everywhere in the world. You know, I'm sorry, but I'm not spoiling anything. Now, when you get to the end of this movie, there were 3 endings filmed, and Bob Shea's like, well, let's do this ending. Wes Craven didn't like that. Wes Craven said, well, let's do this ending. Bob Shea didn't like that. And then they came up with the third ending, which is the ending that we kind of get at the end of this movie. And neither one of them really liked that, but they just didn't know how to end this movie. You know, it was just kind of weird. It's like, well, we got this idea, but we're not. They were just kind of like, yeah, sure. We don't have much more money to spend on it. Let's just do that. It's a cool movie. I'm pretty sure you have seen it. If you haven't seen it, show me the rock you've been living under for you know, what, 33 years? Yeah. I mean, it's a cool movie. Robert Englund, at the time, I mean, everyone kind of knew him from V, because V had come out like a year before, and he played Willie. And everyone kind of knew him from there. He also did like an episode of MacGyver. He was in a movie a few years before that called Dead and Buried, So Robert Englund had made a small, a small name for himself. But this was the movie that launched him. Everyone now knows who Robert Englund is. Even if you're not a horror fan, there's a good chance you can say, "Hey, I met Robert Englund today," and they're like, "Oh, dude, you met Freddy Krueger?" I mean, they're gonna know who you're talking about. So yeah, it's a good movie. It's a really fun movie. I love this movie. I love the effects in this movie. They're just so crazy. I like the look of Freddy in this movie more than other ones. It's just his face is all gross and slimy, and he looks like a burn victim, but he looks like a burn victim that rolled around in some KY jelly. It just has a very cool look to it. I've never seen the remake all the way through. I watched like a little bit of it one time, and I wasn't really that impressed. I just turned it off. I just didn't care. But yeah, this movie spawned 6 sequels. Parts, 2 through 6. And then the 7th one is called The New Nightmare. So it's not called Part 7. It's just... But yeah, so that's it. I kind of rambled on about this movie. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Always like, subscribe, share, and please comment. With that, I'm the 13th Wolfman. Of course, I'm on the prowl.